Hi, I'm Esther. I'm a professional chef. Very familiar with this. I got it. With Daniel's recipe, I have simpler ingredients. We have instant ramen noodles, eggs, garlic, ginger, scallions, soy sauce, and sesame seeds, and a rotisserie chicken. This is like a nice gift. These ingredients may seem simple, but with a little technique, we can make something really great. If I had to guess, these ingredients would probably cost about $13. $11. Wow, that's really cheap. Daniel just sent me this rotisserie chicken, and there's actually a lot that you can do with it. For ramen, broth is everything. We're gonna use the rotisserie chicken to make a very delicious broth. So the first thing we're gonna do, pull off all the meat from the chicken and separate the skin from the meat. And the wings, the meat is already too tough, I feel like, for the topping. This will be great in the broth. So this is the carcass. You can see here I'm kind of separating and dismantling the carcass to extract more flavor from the bones. This is ready. I'm just gonna add water to our stock. And we're gonna boil it for about an hour or two. For aromatics for the broth, we wanna build as much flavor as possible. So to the chicken, we're just gonna add some of the scallion. Ginger, we're just gonna give it a quick chop as well. And I like to leave the skin on because it's stock. I never like to waste anything. Same with garlic. I'm just gonna give it a nice pound to release some flavor. And then same with the ginger, we're gonna leave the skin on, throw it in the pot with the chicken, and let this go for 2 hours on a rolling boil. Tare is a seasoning liquid that goes into ramen. And that's basically what gives the salt to your ramen.
I'm gonna throw my water, my soy sauce into the pot first.
And to really give this tare a great umami, we're gonna be using the chicken flavor packet in the instant ramen noodles. Now this is like gold. I love this stuff. To that, we're gonna add ginger and garlic. So this will go 5 minutes. We just really wanna make sure the seasoning packet is well incorporated, extract some of that flavor from the garlic and ginger, and make a really beautiful tare. And now we're just gonna strain out the ginger and the garlic, and we're ready to roll. There we have it, our beautiful tare. We're gonna be using the scallions, the ginger, and the garlic to make an aromatic oil. So normally I would use some sort of fat to make an aromatic oil because that gives it a nice mouthfeel. But regular oil works too, and we want to really extract all of the flavors from these 3 ingredients. So we're adding the oil, and we're just going to turn this on. Medium-high heat. We're going to let that go as we mince our ginger and garlic. Basically what I'm doing is I'm frying the scallion, ginger, and garlic in the oil, and it becomes a little crispy. Not only in oil, but it's also a crispy topping that you can add. Building on texture and flavor all at the same time.
Then a couple
Our ginger, I'm peeling it with a spoon. It's the best way to peel ginger so that you don't lose so much of the ginger. And all these scraps, remember, can go in your stock. I don't waste anything in my kitchen. Already, I can smell the infusion of the oil. It's heavenly. So you want to make sure you don't walk away from the pan when you're doing this because it'll go from light brown to dark really quick. It's starting to get nice and light brown. Once you start seeing the color change happening, you want to take it off the heat. So this is looking beautiful. I'm just going to strain it to separate the chunks from the oil because I want to keep the chunks crispy. So here is our beautiful aromatic oil. And then this is our crispy topping that's gonna give so much texture to this ramen. So Daniel sent me these eggs, and instead of just cracking the egg in the broth, we're gonna be making onsen tamago. Onsen tamago is basically a sous vide egg, but without an immersion circulator. All you need is water. Temperature is really important here. The reason why we're doing 4 cups of boiling to 1 cup of cold is because we want that sweet spot of the temperature of 167.
I'm gonna use a slotted spoon and just ever so gently get these eggs into the boiling water.
And then we're just gonna cover it and let this sit for 15 minutes.
Now I'm going to take them out, let them sit there, enjoy like a cold pool.
Because we wanna cool it completely before we crack it. And let's test one out. This is both exciting and nerve-wracking at the same time because if it doesn't turn out right, it's always a little frustrating. If it does, it's very exciting. Oh, perfect. You see how the yolk is still super creamy, but semi-set. And then this, in the ramen broth, it just becomes silky and delicious. Broth has been going for about 2 hours. You can see the carcass is broken down. It's starting to thicken. So we're gonna strain it through a chinois. You wanna use a ladle to kind of push out all of that flavor from the bones. Now it's time to finish our broth. I wanna add a little bit of body. Since we have eggs, I'm gonna use the yolk to slightly add some creaminess to the broth. And I don't wanna add the eggs directly to the hot broth. I'm gonna slowly temper the egg yolks with the broth so that we don't curdle or cook it. The inspiration behind this is like carbonara. We want to make sure that it remains really creamy and silky. To this mixture, I'm gonna start seasoning it with the tare, and then we're gonna add everything back into the broth. So at this point, we're gonna taste. Oh my gosh, it's so good. It's perfect. I mean, I feel like you can serve this at ramen restaurants and no one would know it came from a packet. So I feel like one of the most fun things about ramen is all of the different toppings that you get on it. So we have our chicken skin, and then we have our chicken meat, and these are gonna be 2 different toppings used in very different ways. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna fry the chicken skin. If you go to a Japanese restaurant, you can even just order the skin separately. And that's the inspiration behind this. Skinspiration. That sounds gross. Okay, when you hear a little sizzle, I think that's ready. I love this idea. I kind of now want to do this at my restaurant. You know it's done when it kind of holds together like that. Remember that seasoning packet? I'm just gonna sprinkle it on our chicken skin. And then this will really amp up the flavor. As soon as it cools, it's like ultra, ultra crispy. And I can't resist, I'm sorry, but I gotta taste it. It's like a really, really good chip. That's gonna be amazing on top of our ramen. We can't just top our ramen with plain chicken. We have to amp up the flavor. So what we're gonna do is use the tare that we made, and we're gonna season the chicken. This oil that we use to fry the chicken skin has so much flavor. We're gonna use it to also reheat our chicken meat. You can already see it looks totally different, right? And by doing this, you're just rehydrating the chicken almost. When this slightly caramelizes, that's when it's ready. So Daniel sent me sesame seeds, and I feel like this is a great way to add this like creamy element to the ramen. Plain sesame seeds doesn't have that much flavor, but once you toast it, it changes completely. Sesame has a lot of oil in them, and that's what you're trying to release. So now that the sesame seeds are toasted, we're just gonna grind this up and add it to our broth. I have a scallion, which we're just gonna slice. At the restaurant, we call this sexy scallions. And then the sesame seeds that we toasted, we're just gonna grind it up into a powder. Our last 2 toppings are ready to go. Just cook our noodles and we're ready to assemble our ramen. So as the noodle cooks, I'm gonna start building the base for the bowl. I'm gonna start with our grounded up sesame seeds.
I'm gonna put the broth into this lovely bowl.
And we'll just add the noodles to the broth.
I'm still
Starting with our chicken, some of our crispy mixture, the crispy chicken skin.
Next, I'm gonna do the egg.
Of course, we have our scallions.
Last but not least, aromatic oil.
That looks awesome. And this is my take on Daniel's ramen recipe.
This looks so good.
I'm so shocked that I could make this out of instant ramen and rotisserie chicken. It's super creamy. Wow. I'm really proud of myself for that. Can't wait to see what Daniel did with my recipe. What's up?
How's it going? Hi.
Nice to meet you. Wow. I mean, it looks like it came from the same restaurant. I mean,
Thank you. I could cry. Can I try yours? Is that allowed? Can I
do it.
that? Oh my god.
I mean,
You leveled this up. You're a wizard.
that's what we are, no?
This is nuts.
Good job. Do
Think
you
me?
want to come work at my ramen shop?
Yeah, I'm wearing an apron. Let's go. Like, sign me up.